Dear students, wish you a happy morning, and I hope I have gone through the previous two lectures of this unit 5, which deals with the human population and environment. So in the last two lectures we have seen about population, what is population density, then what is population explosion, what about the variation of population among nations. So three types have been mentioned. One is pyramid shape, which shows an increase in population. Then bell shaped shows stable population. Then urn shaped shows a decrease in population. Then we have seen about what are the causes, effects and control measures of population explosion. Then we have seen about family welfare programs, family planning methods. Then environment and human health we have seen, physical hazards, chemical hazards and biological hazards. Then we have seen about various human rights and about the articles related to that human rights. And today in this 8th lecture we are going to see about value education, then HIV AIDS, then women welfare. So these three topics we are going to see today. Okay, coming to the first one, value education. So we all know about moral education, school education and so on. So here value education means it is a learning process through which knowledge about particular thing can be acquired. So about a particular thing we can acquire a knowledge, that is known as value education. So we can value our relationship with others and their environments based on this knowledge and experience. So there are different types of education, we will see one by one. So first one is formal education. So formal education, it is self-related. So all of us know how to read, write and we will get jobs and tackle any problems only with the help of formal education. So formal education means what you are doing today. So you are going to school or college and we are getting degrees. So based on the degrees we are being employed. We get a job opportunity and there if you have any problems we can tackle it with the help of the formal education. The second one is value education. So value education means it analyzes our behavior and provide proper direction to our youth. See, today's youth they are in a different state. So millennium kids, they will be telling millennium youth. So they are in a different direction. But value education, it is an instrument used to analyze our behavior and provide proper direction to our young people. So it teaches them the distinction between right and wrong, how to be compassionate, how to be helpful, how to love others, how to be generous, how to be tolerant. All these things we can learn from this value education, and so that youth can move towards a sustainable future. See, if a person is highly qualified, he is well employed and if he is having a rich living style, sometimes if a person of this sort is not able to behave properly with the environment, means he cannot do anything. He is not having value education. See, even if you have a high job, high degree, whatever it may be, you should know how to behave with people and with environment. So that is being taught by this value education. So value education is a very important thing and it also starts from the school itself. And the third one is value-based environmental education. See, environmental education provides knowledge about principles of ecology, then fundamentals of environment and biodiversity. So all this we have seen in the first chapter, what is ecology, what is biodiversity and about the fundamentals of environment. So it creates a sense of duty to care for the natural resources and to manage them in a sustainable way. So by learning this environmental education, we know about our natural resources and how we should minimize the use of natural resources so that future can be benefited. So we have to use natural resources in a sustainable way. That is learned from this value-based environmental education. See, now when environment gets degraded, it affects our health, well-being and our future. So it's important to know all about the environment and also have a right to safe and clean environment. See, once the environment is affected, it affects not only the environment, it affects individuals' health, well-being and also the future. So it is important to know about the environment, its resources, its degradation and so on, so that we can safeguard and protect our environment. So these are the three types of education. One is formal education, second one is value education and the third one is value-based environmental education. Now we are seeing only about value education. So value education means it provides it's an instrument which provides us to analyze our behavior and proper direction, gives proper direction. Now coming to the objectives of value education, you can tell it as objectives of value education, or what's the need of value education, or what is the importance of value education. Sometimes you may be thinking that I am having a formal education, I am having a BE degree, or I am having a BTech degree, MTech degree, or a PhD degree. So why should I have value education? But this value education is important. What is the need? We should know it. First one is to improve the integral growth of human beings. So growth of human beings should be integrally improved, means we should know about value education. So value education improves the integral whole growth of a human being. Excuse me. Then it creates attitudes and improvement towards sustainable lifestyle. So it creates an attitude and improvement towards a sustainable lifestyle. Then it increases awareness about our national history, our cultural heritage, our constitutional rights, then about the national integration, community development and environment. So from value education we can have an awareness about all these things. See, we have seen about constitutional rights, we have seen about the values of biodiversity, we have seen about the degradation of environments, all these we have got an awareness, so that is provided by value education. Then to create and develop awareness about the values and their significance and role. Values about the values of biodiversity, values of the environment, and what about the importance. Then to understand about our natural environment, in which how land, air and water are interlinked. So in our environment, how the land, air and water are interlinked can be also understood from this value education. And the last thing is we can know about various living and non-living organisms and their interaction with the environment. So as a whole, value education, it improves our growth, it creates attitude and improvement in sustainable lifestyle, then creates awareness about the environment and their values. Then we can understand about the air, water and land resources. Then finally we can know about the interaction of environment with living and non-living organisms. So this is the need for value education. Now what are the concepts of value education? So first one is why and how can we use less resources and energy. So first we should know the answer for this question. So how we can use less resources and less energy, that can be got from this value education. Then why do we need to keep our surroundings clean? Why our surroundings, our environment should be clean, that should be known from the value education. Then how should we use less fertilizers and pesticides in farms? So in farms, if we know about the degradation or the disadvantages of using fertilizers and pesticides in excess, we'll automatically use less fertilizers and less pesticides. So that can be imparted from this value education. Then why it is important for us to save water and keep our water sources clean. Why we should save water and why should we keep our water resources clean. Then why should we separate our garbage into degradable and non-degradable types before disposal? See, all of us know, even the municipality workers, when they come to our houses, we have to give the waste separately, degradable, biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. Makkum kuppai, makada kuppai, separate panni we have to give it. So all these things can be learnt from value education. So all these are connected with the quality of human life, and we should have a love and respect for our nature. So that is the main concept of this value education. So the main overall thing, if I say, means we have to protect and keep our surroundings clean, and we should not degrade our environment. That is the main concept of this value education. And the next one is, what are the methods of imparting value education? First one is telling. Telling means, see, there are so many methods. First one is telling. So it's a process of developing values to enable a pupil to have a clear picture of value laden situation by means of his own narration of the situation. See, if a particular situation is there, means you are narrating the situation to a student or to another person so that he can develop values. சொல்றது எடுத்து சொல்றப்ப அந்த values they will be learning. That is the telling method. The second one is modeling. So it's a method in which certain individuals perceived as ideal values is presented to the learners as a model. ஒரு மாடலாக செஞ்சு, இப்போ நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுறீங்க, குளோபல் வார்மிங் அதை குறித்து என்ன ஒரு மாடல் பண்ணும், பொல்யூஷனாக அதை குறித்து ஒரு மாடல் பண்ணும். You do a model and then you present it to the learners so that they can understand. The next one is role playing. So acting out the true feelings of the actor or actress by taking the role of another person but without the risk of reprisals. See, you have to take the role of another person and you have to enact it. நடிச்சு காமிக்கணும். ஸோ அப்படி பண்ணீங்கன்னா they will understand. The next one is problem solving. It is a method wherein a dilemma is presented to the learners, asking them what decisions they are going to take. ஒரு ப்ராப்ளத்தை சொல்லிட்டு அவங்ககிட்டே வந்து இந்த மாதிரி பிரச்சனை இருக்குது, இது எப்படி நம்ம சால்வ் பண்ணலாம். ஸோ we are asking decisions from the learners. So that method is problem solving. Similar to your maths. So a problem will be given and you are asked to solve it. Same way here also, environmental problem will be given, you are asked the solutions. The next one is studying biographies of great men. So here this method makes use of the lives of great men as the subject matter for trying to elicit their good deeds and thoughts worthy for emulation. ஸோ பயோகிராஃபிஸ், நல்ல பெரிய பெரிய ஆளுடைய பயோகிராஃபிஸ் எடுத்து சொல்லி அவங்க எப்படியெல்லாம் பண்ணாங்க, அவங்க எப்படி நல்ல காரியங்களை செஞ்சாங்க, என்விரான்மெண்ட்டுக்கு என்னெல்லாம் செஞ்சாங்க. ஸோ இஃப் யூ ஆர் லேர்னிங் ஆர் இஃப் யூ ஆர் ரீடிங் அபவுட் தேர் ஸ்டடிங் அபவுட் தி பயோகிராஃபிஸ், you can follow them. So these are the 5 methods. So first one is telling, then modeling, showing a model, then role playing or acting, then problem solving, and then finally studying biographies of great men. So these are the methods of imparting value education to the people or to the learners. Now what are the types of values? See, first one is universal values or social values. So universal values tells us about the importance of human conditions. So social values, so in life there's joy, love, compassion, tolerance, service, truth, all these are being exhibited or shown. So this is universal or social value. The next one is cultural value. So cultural value varies with time and place. So it is concerned with right and wrong, good and bad, true and false, and behavior of human beings. So it is reflected in language, aesthetics, education, law, economics, and philosophy. So cultural values, it varies from place and time depending upon the language, their sense of aesthetics, then education, law, etc. The next one is individual values. So individual values are our personal principles and the result of individual personality and experience. So it is the result of our individual personality. So parents and teachers, they are the main key to shape our individual values. So it is reflected in individual goals, relationships, commitments, etc. It varies from person to person. Universal value, it's a common value. Cultural value depending upon a particular place. Then individual is depends upon each and every individual. The next one is global values. So global values means human civilization is a part of the planet, and everything in this earth, nature and the earth, it's interconnected and interlinked with special bonds of harmony, true relationship. If this harmony is disturbed anywhere, there will be an ecological imbalance leading to catastrophic results. Global values so related with environment and the earth, the natural things. So if anything is disturbed anywhere, then there will be an ecological imbalance which leads to catastrophic problems, severe problems or damaging problems, death and so on. So this is global value. And the last one is spiritual values. So it prevents conservationism and transform our consumeristic approach. It is reflected in self-restraint, self-discipline, contentment, reduction of wants, etc. Spiritual values. So we should be self-disciplined, we should be content with what we have to reduce our wants, reduce our waste, etc. All this comes under spiritual values. So there are 5 different types of values. One is universal values or social value, cultural value, individual value, global value and spiritual value. Hope you have understood about value education. What is value education? What are the types, different types of education part? Formal value education, value-based environmental education. What is the need for environmental education? Need for value education. What are the concepts of value education and how to impart value education? What are the different types of values? So hope you have understood about value education. And the second one is HIV/AIDS. So I think all of you know about this one. You study from schools itself. So AIDS means acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So it is caused by a virus called HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. So I think this virus is a common term because now COVID-19. So it is also a coronavirus disease. It is also based on a virus. There were many myths have been spread about AIDS, but we know about the facts about HIV and AIDS, and we can come to the origin of HIV and AIDS. So AIDS, it was discovered in 1983. So there was little knowledge about this disease. Yet a definite source could not be identified. So following theories were suggested at the beginning. See, now also here virus, we couldn't understand the correct source, correct medicine. It is causing so many deaths and so many things are happening nowadays. Even lockdown is there for nearly 21 days. So same thing also happened when AIDS originated. So it was discovered in 1983. So first one, they say that it is through African monkeys. AIDS has spread from Africa and HIV has transferred to humans from African monkey or chimpanzees. This is one myth. Then another one, through vaccine programs. So HIV has spread in Africa through HIV contaminated polio vaccine prepared from monkey's kidney. Polio vaccine was prepared from monkey's kidney and through that it has been spread. Then it has been spread through hepatitis B viral vaccine in Los Angeles and New York. Then it had also spread through smallpox vaccine program of Africa. So due to these 3 vaccines, polio vaccine, hepatitis B viral vaccine and smallpox vaccine, HIV might be spread. So these are all myths about AIDS. Through African monkeys it might have been spread or through vaccine programs. So what about the world scenario? See, 90% of the people who are infected with AIDS live in developing countries. Developing countries is like our India. So 13% of world's population live in Africa. Almost all states of African countries were affected by HIV. So 3 million people died so far due to AIDS in 2003. Up to 2003, nearly 3 million people died. So India ranked second with 5.1 million HIV affected people. The percentage is lower than Thailand, Myanmar and South Africa. These 3 areas, it was severe, but India ranked second. So what about the scenario in India separately? If you see, large number of infected cases have been found in Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, followed by Delhi. See, now also more COVID cases in Maharashtra, then Tamil Nadu, it seems Kerala. So here also is followed by Delhi, UP, Karnataka and Goa. In Tamil Nadu alone, till September 2003, a total of nearly 25,000 cases have been found out. So Tamil Nadu has the highest percentage of AIDS patient in the year 2003. Nowadays this AIDS itself, it is not being heard as such, but it was a severe thing in 2003 and all. Now coming to the factors influencing the transmission of HIV. What are the factors which influence the HIV transmission? And we are also going to see which factors do not influence also we will be seeing. So So HIV is spreading due to the following activities. All the myth, everything, it is not there. This is the original factors for transmitting HIV, human immunovirus. So it is HIV from infected person can pass to a normal person through blood contact, generally during unprotected sex with infected person. See, COVID-19 coronavirus, it says it spreads through cough or sneezing, or if you give shake hand to an infected person. But AIDS, it is not like that. It is mainly through blood contact, or it is due to unprotected sex with infected people. Then using needles or syringes contaminated with small quantities of blood from HIV positive person also transmit HIV to others. So when they are using syringes and needles, when it is used for a HIV positive person and that blood is there, means if you use the same needle or syringe to another person, it will be transmitted. So only disposable syringes and needles are being used nowadays. Then HIV can also pass from infected mothers to their babies during pregnancy, delivery or breastfeeding. So it can pass from infected mothers to their babies. So during these periods, then blood transfusion from the infected person at the time of accident or pregnancy also results in HIV or AIDS. See, in an emergency case, they will not be testing the blood that is going to be transfused to a person. So if a blood from an infected person is transfused to another person, that also leads to the human immunovirus or AIDS disease. So hope these are the transmissions. So from infected person, it will be transmitted to another person by any of these methods. Some more also you'll see. The next one is women are more vulnerable to HIV. Biologically, the male to female transmission is 2 to 4 times more efficient than female to male. See, first point, sir, we have seen it is due to unprotected sex and it transfers from male to female easily. It is 2 to 4 times higher than female to male transmission. Then women around 18 to 20 years are at more risk since their cervical tissue is more vulnerable to invading HIV. So, women at this age, 18 to 20 years, they will be affected more. Then the majority of HIV infections occur in women of childbearing age. Transmission to the newborn babies happen easily. From a mother, it will be transferred to the newborn babies. So these are some of the factors which influence the transmission of HIV. Now we can see what are the factors which does not influence. So it is not spread through tears, food and air, cough, handshake, mosquito, flies, insect bites, urine, saliva, during normal kissing, sharing of utensils, clothes, toilet, bathroom, etc. It will not be transmitted by any of these methods. But now COVID-19, it will be transferred through all these methods. But when the AIDS originated, they told all these will be transmitting. But now they have found out that it will not be transferred by any of these methods, only by the previous 7 measures and methods I have told you. By that methods only it will be transmitted. The next is, what is the function of HIV in human body? So AIDS itself, it will not kill human beings. The death occurs due to the attack by diseases because of the weakening of immune system. Immune system will be affected, so only people will be killed. See, WBC, white blood corpuscles or white blood cells, it is responsible in the formation of antibodies called T helper cells. So for good immunity power, we should have white blood cells. So it is known as T helper cells. So it only, the T helper cells only will fight the immune system. So HIV, it will enter into the human body, it destroys the T cells, and as a result, various type of infectious diseases will occur. Even cancer also can develop in HIV infected persons. So have you understood the function of HIV? See, நம்ம பாடியில் white blood cells தான் வந்து immune system இருக்கக்கூடியது, இம்யூனிட்டி பவர் அதிகமாக இருக்குது ஒயிட் பிளட் செல்ஸ். ஸோ இதில் வந்து ஒரு செல் பேர் தான் டி ஹெல்பர் செல்ஸ். இந்த டி ஹெல்பர் செல்ஸ் தான் எல்லா இன்ஃபெக்ஷனையும் ஃபைட் பண்ணுறது. இந்த ஹெச்ஐவி வைரஸ் ஹியூமன் பாடிக்குள்ள என்ட்ரு ஆச்சுன்னா இந்த டி செல்ஸை டெஸ்ட்ராய் பண்ணிடும். அப்போ எந்த இன்ஃபெக்ஷியஸ் டிசீஸ், என்ன டிசீஸ் ஆனாலும் உள்ள வந்து கேன்சர் கூட உள்ள வரும். அதனால தான் சீக்கிரமாக ஹெச்ஐவி பர்சன்ஸ் வந்து தே ஆர் பீயிங் கில்ட். ஸோ கிளியராக இது ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் புரிஞ்சா, வாட்ஸ் த ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆஃப் ஹெச்ஐவி இன் ஹியூமன் பாடி. The next one is, what are the symptoms? So many people, they have no symptoms when they are first infected with HIV. First there will not be any symptom, but some people they get fever, headache and fatigue. ரொம்ப டயர்ட்னஸாக இருக்கும். During this time, HIV is present in large amounts in semen and vaginal fluids, and it is very easy to pass the infection to another person. So starting stage semen vaginal fluids இது அதிகமாக இருக்கும். So it can transfer to another person. Then HIV is very active inside a person's body. Virus multiplies and kills more and more T cells of the immune system. So already we have seen it destroys the T cells. So it will be very active, it will be multiplying very fastly, and it will be killing the T cells of the immune system. Consumption of alcohol increases the susceptibility to infection and progress of AIDS. So alcohol consume பண்ணீங்கன்னா infection அதிகமாகும், AIDS உடைய நேச்சரும் உனக்கு சீக்கிரம் அதிகமாகும். So these are the basic symptoms. We'll see about the minor and major symptoms. So minor symptoms are persistent cough for more than 1 month. ஒரு மந்த்துக்கு மேலே continuous cough இருக்கும். Then general skin disease, viral infection, fungus infection in mouth and throat இருக்கும். Frequent fever, headache and fatigue. இதெல்லாம் minor symptoms. Now what are the major symptoms? Fever will be there for more than 1 month. Diarrhea more than 1 month. Cough and TB for more than 6 months. Then fall of hairs from the head, then 10% of body weight gets reduced within a short period. So short period body weight reduce ஆகுது, continuous fever, diarrhea, cough, TB, முடி கொட்டுது, இதெல்லாம் இருந்துச்சுன்னா that is a major symptom. Immediately you have to consult the doctor. So these are the symptoms of HIV and AIDS. Now how to control and prevent AIDS? What are the control and preventive measures? See, there is neither a cure nor a vaccine, but it can be prevented. We all know the proper prevention is better than cure. So if a disease comes, cure is the second thing. We have to prevent it. You know, COVID-19, so many preventive measures have been. You have to wash hands often. You should use a handkerchief or cloth while sneezing, and so many things are there. Same way, here also preventive measures should be followed. So basic approaches to control AIDS are, first one is education. So health education enables people to avoid indiscriminate sex and encourages the use of condoms. So indiscriminate sex should be avoided, and they are encouraged to use condoms. So one should avoid the use of sharing razors, needles and syringes. So syringe, needle, razor, all are disposable nowadays. We should not share with others. Then prevention of blood-borne HIV transmission. So people in high risk group, they should not donate blood. Blood donation should not be there. High risk patients. Then blood should be screened for HIV before transmission, and strict sterilization practices should be followed in hospitals. Hospitals la blood transfusion pandappa it should be screened for HIV virus. So education, then prevention of blood-borne HIV transmission. The next one is primary health care. So AIDS awareness program should be encouraged. Voluntary agencies should participate. Training programs with doctors and paramedical workers should be conducted. How it should be restricted? AIDS awareness programs can be conducted in primary health care. Then counseling services can be given either in person or through telephone. So if we see a person, he's suspected, means we can give him counseling. So how to prevent it and all. Then drug treatment. So testing HIV positive does not mean the end. ஒரு பேஷண்ட்டுக்கு HIV positive அது end கிடையாது. They can still stay healthy, leading productive lives for many years. So they have to seek early medical care, and they have to be active and very vital in managing HIV. So immune system has to be kept boosted by taking nutritious diet and maintaining a stress-free mind. ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் ஃப்ரீ மைண்ட் இருக்கணும், நியூட்ரிஷியஸ் டயட் எடுக்கணும். ஸோ their life will be extended. So these are some of the methods. So preventive education should be given, prevention of blood-borne transmission should be there, awareness program should be given, counseling services should be there, and early medical care should be there. They provide nutritious diet, and there should be a stress-free mind. Now what are the effects of HIV or AIDS? So large number of death occurs which affect environment and natural resources. Environment and natural resources affect large number of death will be there. Due to large number of death, there is loss of labor and level of production decreases. நிறைய death இருந்துச்சுன்னா level of production will be decreased. More water is required for maintaining hygiene in AIDS affected locality. More water. then people affected by HIV cannot perform work well due to lack of energy and frequent fever and sweating. Due to frequent fever and lack of energy, they will not be able to perform work. These are the effects of HIV or AIDS. So first itself, it should be prevented, control measures to be taken, and we should be careful. Then HIV or AIDS can be prevented. So it's an important question, part B, part C question. Sometimes 2 mark also they will be asking. So very important question. You study this HIV and AIDS thoroughly. Then the next one is women welfare. The last topic is women welfare here. The main aim of women welfare is to improve the status of the women by providing opportunities in education, employment and economic independence. So women welfare, considering the welfare of women, so we have to provide opportunities in education, employment and economic independence should be there. Now what is the need for this women welfare? See, women, they face lot of problem in the society. Previous years and all, education will not be given to them, awareness will not be there, nothing will be there. But now education is improved, awareness is more. So we can see what is the need. First one is women suffer gender discrimination and devaluation at home, at workplace, in matrimony, in public life and usually our society is a male dominated society. So women, they suffer gender discrimination at home, workplace, in marriage, public life, in power, etc. So that is the need for first need for women welfare. Then high number of cases of dowry deaths. So compelling dowry, so death is more, then rape, domestic violence, criminal offences and mental torture to women is there. So women welfare is needed. Then human rights of women are violated in the male dominated society. As I told you, our society is a male dominated society and human rights of women are violated. And then in policy making and decision making process, women are neglected. So women will not be considered for any policy making or decision making. So these are the need for women welfare. They suffer all these things. So women welfare should be continued, or it is very important. Now what are the objectives of women welfare or women self-help group? We are having so many SHG, women self-help groups are nowadays there. So first one is to provide education, then to impart vocational training. So they are having self-help groups and they are preparing their own items and they are selling it and earning money. Then to generate awareness about the environment. Since the women are uneducated, they do not have an awareness about the environment. So to generate awareness. Then to improve the employment opportunities. Nowadays women are being equally employed, but in olden days it was not so. So to improve the employment opportunities, to create awareness about the problems of population. So population problem should be given an awareness. Then to restore the dignity, status, equality and respect for women. So respect for women, their status, equality and dignity should be restored. So these are the objectives. Provide education, impart vocational training, awareness about environment, awareness about the population problems, then to improve employment opportunities and to restore the status, equality, dignity and respect for women. Now what are the objectives of National Commission for Women? So that's a National Commission. It has been created by the Government of India, and what are its main objectives? First one is to examine constitutional and legal right for women. So there's a constitutional and legal right that is being examined, to review existing legislations. What are the legislations regarding women welfare? Then to sensitize the enforcement and administrative machinery to women's causes. If there is any problem to a woman, then administrative action should be taken, a process should be there. So for these three things only, National Commission for Women is being framed by the Government of India. Then the next one is, what is environmental degradation and women welfare? How it is related? So developmental work not only affects the natural environment but affects the traditional, social, cultural and family life. So developmental work, if it does not affect the natural environment alone, but it affects the traditional, social, cultural and family life. So when forest cover is being lost and getting rehabilitated from their native places, men also migrate to towns for some jobs. Women are left behind to look after their family with little resources. We know that rehabilitation and resettlement process. So in a particular area, due to development process, if an area is being resettled, the men will be going for a job and they'll be as usual. The women staying in home, they'll be difficult to have relationship with the neighboring town, and they'll be left behind to look after only with their family with little minimum resources. Then mining projects play havoc with the life of rural women. Mining activities also plays a difficult role. See, men can still work in the mines or migrate to towns for same job after getting compensation from the government. So when it is resettled, men will be going for the same job, whereas displaced women are the worst affected as they do not get any compensation and depend on men for wages. See, in the earlier area, they can earn something, but in a new rehabilitated area, men will be going for the same work, but the women will be there. They are the worst affected. They do not get any compensation, and they have to depend on men for all these things. So these are the issues related to dignity and honor have not yet received any attention. See, environment degradation, deforestation, mining, development work, or resettlement or area full and the families will be displaced to another place. Rehabilitate resettle rehabilitation கொடுப்பாங்க. அப்போ வீட்டில் இருக்க அந்த ஜென்ஸ் மென் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, அவங்க நார்மலாக அதே என்ன வேலை இருந்துச்சோ அதே வேலைக்கு அவங்க போய்க்கலாம். டவுன்ஸ் போய் அந்த வேலையை சர்ச் பண்ணி அவங்க வேலைக்கு போயிடுவாங்க. பட் இந்த டிஸ்பிளேஸ் விமன் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, வீட்டிலே தான் இருக்கணும், ரிசோர்ஸஸ் கம்மியாக இருக்கும், அவங்க வெளியே எந்த ரிலேஷனும் அவங்களுக்கு இருக்காது, எந்த ஜாபுக்கு போகணும், எப்படி ஏர்ன் பண்ணணும் ஒன்றும் தெரியாது. எல்லாத்துக்குமே they have to depend upon the men. So the most affected will be the women due to the environmental degradation part or due to any developmental project activities part. And the next one is, what are the organization working towards the women welfare? So there are 4 different types of organization. First one is National Network for Women and Mining, NNWM, National Network for Women and Mining Process. So it is fighting for gender audit of India's mining companies. Mining companies la avungalukku or part kodukanum. Then United Nations Decade for Women. It witnessed inclusion of several women welfare related issues on international agenda. So United Nations Decade la international level la what are the women welfare related issues it will be witnessed. The next one is International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. So an international standard will be created for protection and promotion of women's human and socio-economic upliftment. So to uplift the women on socio-economic basis, or to promoting for promotion and protection of women, this international standard is being created by CEDAW. Then the last one is non-government organization, NGOs, Mahila Mandal. We have already seen this one. So here it creates awareness among women of remote villages to empower them, train them, educate them, and help them to become economically self-dependent. See, in rural areas, very remote villages, the women will be not at all, they will be educated, and always they are dependent upon men. So here the awareness will be created by this Mahila Mandals. They will be empowering them, training them, educating them how to be economically self-dependent. So only self-help groups are there. So they will be preparing their own materials, and they will be leading a self-dependent life. So they will depend among themselves for small things. For each and everything, they need not depend upon others. So these are the various organizations towards women welfare. Women welfare is also an important thing. So today we have seen 3 things. Value education is important. HIV/AIDS is another important thing. And this women welfare also is very, very important. So what is women welfare? Then what is the need for women welfare we have seen. Next one is, what are the objectives? So to give education, vocational training, awareness about problems of environment, population, etc. Then what are the objectives? So constitutional and legal rights should be there, reviewing existing legislation, then to sensitize the enforcement and administrative machinery to causes of women, for the causes of women. Then how about the environmental degradation and women welfare? So due to developmental activities or projects or deforestation, due to rehabilitation problem, who is being affected. Mostly the displaced men will go to the original job, only the displaced women are the most affected here. And then what are the various organizations? We have seen about 4 organizations, NNWM, the United Nations Decade, CEDAW, and NGOs or non-government organizations or Mahila Mandals. So all these organizations, they are working for the welfare of the women. Nowadays women are being empowered due to all these women welfare activities. So this women welfare is also an important question, and we'll be seeing about child welfare. Child welfare is also women and child welfare. Sometimes they will combine this question or they will ask it separately. So it is also an important question. Go through this women welfare part. So HIV/AIDS I have already learned, it is easy for you. This is a new thing, women welfare. So you go through this one and you study. So thank you, and if you have any doubt you can contact me. Thank you.